Hey people of the VC, it's Andy Cloudy Milder. This time it's a contest entry for Rob Blackstar Vinyl. It was his nearly 400 subs, but he has surpassed that now, so congratulations on that, Rob. I'm sure you guys who, if you watch me, you know Rob's channel really well. Really straight talking guy, knows his stuff, and I'm a massive fan of I guess the glam hair metal genre. He pulls out some amazing stuff and loads of stuff I haven't heard from before. He's also a massive fan of female fronted bands as well, and he's got a load of those in his collection as well, and it's always good to see them. Do check out Rob's channel, links and all that good stuff above and below and anywhere you care to look around this video. So 4 questions and a bonus. I'm going to tackle them in a slightly different order, I think, just because that's who I am. The first one was, say, 4 Grails. I don't really have a Grails list. Sure, there are probably lots of records I could, if I really thought about it, I could pick up if I found them, or too expensive to pick up. It normally comes into the Grail category. 3 of which I actually picked up last week, so this list was kind of even harder. And my fault for not jumping on this contest earlier, because this list would have been a lot easier. But so I will give you Iron Maiden's debut album and original first pressing of that. I have an 85 reissue on Fame, which is great. I'll probably pick up a newer reissue as well, but I would quite like to get a first pressing, but that is going for £40 plus for a VG Plus copy at the moment, and I'm not in the position where I would spend that much even on a Grail. Next one would be a legit copy of Metallica Kill 'Em All on Music for Nations. I have a copy, but it turned out to be a counterfeit and it doesn't sound fantastic. And the other 2 I'd pick off my Music for Nations list as well. As you know, I collect Music for Nations records, certainly the first 100, and I'm just kind of down now to a few that are really hard to get and a few that I don't really want because they're kind of on the AOR side, which I will probably pick up to be a completist, but only if I can find them really cheap. But ones that aren't cheap that I'm looking for are obviously Kill 'Em All, I've just mentioned, Bonded by Blood by Exodus, MFN 44, that goes for a pretty price, as does Violence and Force by Exciter, MFM number 17. So that's my 4 Grails for the moment. Question 2, I'm going to say, you asked which superhero would we like to be. I actually quite like superhero movies and things, but I don't know, I'd probably choose Batman, because he's allowed to be grumpy, so when my wife comes in and says, "What you got that face on for?" I can just say, "Oh, I'm Batman," and that would justify being in a grumpy mood. Question 3, you asked for shout outs for 4 people with less than 200 subs. I am going to give shout outs to, and this is, there's probably lots I could do, and I know some people have done more, but you asked for 4, so I'm sticking to the rules, and I've gone down my the videos from subscribers list and just literally picked out the most recent 4 that have done videos that have less than 200 subs. It could have been others, but these are the guys, and they're all guys that are going to get the shout outs from me. That is Brendan Van D. He's pretty new, from Australia. Check him out. He's just started a thread as well, so it'd be good if some people could jump on that. Although I haven't said that, I've not done that myself yet. Headbanging Zulu UK, Steve. He's been going for a while now, and he deserves a lot more subs than he's got. So check him out if you haven't already. L from Canada, again, great channel, deserve more subs. And Gustavo Scafuro, or, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. He's from Brazil, and he's just kind of started out. He's got a channel, I guess, Portuguese, metal channel where he does a lot of stuff that's got a lot of subs, but he's just started more of an English language channel to get more integrated in with the VC. So he's got some really cool stuff, certainly from the Brazilian, South American side of things. So check out those four. Question 3. So now I've not got an order. This is going to be difficult. Question 4 for me will be a live show. So you asked for 4 favourite live shows. I've been to a ton of live shows, and is very rarely I don't enjoy them. So I've kind of picked ones where the band has kind of meant a lot to me. So first up, I did a whole video on this, but here's the ticket. So this is the first gig I ever went to, Monsters of Rock, Castle Donington. I have talked about this numerous times. Bon Jovi, Dio, Metallica, Anthrax, Wasp, and Cinderella. Great gig. So that's number 1. Number 2, big Manic Street Preachers fan. First time I saw them was in 1992 in Liverpool University, and this is when they were still a 4-piece, and I don't think they released an album by this time as well. So that was great to see them in their early days. And the third one, we'll go with, I haven't got a ticket for that, but I'll show the programme. Iron Maiden Book of Souls tour. I saw them in Glasgow Hydro, and despite being such a big fan, this is the first time I had got to see Iron Maiden, and I absolutely loved it. That was such a big thing to tick off the bucket list, and it was just a great experience. And of course, I would have loved to have seen them in the heyday in the 80s, but they're still a pretty kick-ass band now. So just glad to be able to say I actually got to see them. And my other favourite band that's not a metal band is The Wedding Present, and I've seen them numerous times, but this is the first time I ever saw them, again at Liverpool Students' Union. This was in 1990. Don't remember who the special guests were though. Don't think I cared. Oh, the support band for Iron Maiden was Shinedown. Metal Mickey, big fan of Shinedown. Me, not so much. And so that's a 4, and a bit of an honorary mention because you're such a big Yngwie fan. This is from 19th of November. It's 1989, even though it doesn't say it on there. And there you go, £6 to see Yngwie Malmsteen. So this was in '88. This is when he had was touring with Joe Lynn Turner on vocals, and best memory of the gig is when it started. Joe Lynn Turner came out and he was kind of wearing, I don't know if it was either blue leather trousers and jacket or purple, I don't know, it depends on how the lights came onto it, and he strutted out on stage, threw his hair back, and slipped on a wet patch on the stage, and he didn't go over, but it was enough for a lot of the audience to kind of laugh and for him to look incredibly pissed off. But I thought it was quite fun. But it was a great gig anyway. I do like a bit of Malmsteen. So that's 4 and a bonus. And the bonus question that you actually asked was for 4 autographs. Well, I've shown one already. That is David Lewis Gedge from The Wedding Present. Although this autograph isn't from this show. The last time I saw them, which was last year or the year before, I can't remember, I picked up their latest album, Going, and I took this along with me to get a signature, and it was quite good to get him to sign it, albeit like 28 years later. Just calling it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is probably the most, the least thought I've put into an item getting signed, and you'll see why. So I went to see, I go to a lot of gigs now, but one of the first gigs I went to about 3 years ago when I started going full on to a lot of gigs, was Anvil, and they were supported by a band called Resit, a German thrash metal band. And I got all the Resit guys to sign an album. I'm going to show extra signatures now. So yeah, they had a couple of albums, and I got them to all sign those ones. Yeah. And when it came to Anvil, they came out at the end, and I can't even remember which CD they had out in 2016. Yeah, 2016. But the CD was like super expensive. I thought, I'm not paying that much for a CD. I don't care. I'll buy a T-shirt and get them to sign that. But so here we have Chris here, Rob Reiner, although it's upside down, and Lips here. But because I got the T-shirt signed, I kind of haven't worn it because I didn't want to wash it. But I've just pulled this out of a drawer, and it's been in the drawer for about 2 years. But you can see the pen's already starting to fade and bleed into the T-shirt. So, do you know what? I'll probably start watching this. I'll wash it, and I'll end up with a big black splodge here. So this was the T-shirt. But this was my the first and last time I got an artist to sign a T-shirt. Yeah. Anvil is Anvil. And what was the date here? So it was 22nd of October 2016. So that's number 2. Number 3, fairly recent one. Went to see Raven in Glasgow, picked up a copy of Exterminator, and got the Gallagher brothers to sign. I had a nice chat with them as well, so that was really good. And lastly, this one isn't a music one, but when I was about 18 or 19, I got invited to a charity event, and the person that was being interviewed was George Best, he was a pretty famous footballer at his time. Some would argue he was one of the best footballers who's ever lived. Certainly, he was a shining light in his generation. A little bit before my time, but so I went to this Q&A session. He was getting interviewed, and got this. It says best wishes to Andy, George Best. And I'm not even George Best played for Man United, and I'm a bit of a Liverpool fan, so but it was just kind of quite a cool thing to meet somebody of that stature. And what was even so, George Best is as well as being a famous footballer, is kind of famous for being an alcoholic as well, unfortunately, and ultimately I think that's what killed him. But there's a story he told on this night which I'd heard before, but it was all the better for seeing him in person. And it went along the lines of, so his career ended early compared to most of the footballers around that time, and even today. He kind of he burnt himself out with the drinking and the partying. As the story says, that he recently retired, and he was in a really posh hotel somewhere, and the room service came to the door, and the young lad sort of opened the door, and there's George Best sort of standing there on the bed in the hotel room. It's absolutely covered in money, paper money, all over it. A line on top of the paper money, half naked, is Miss World at the time. And the porter looked up at George Best and said, "George, where did it all go wrong?" And I kind of love that story. But there we go. So that's my George Best. You've probably never heard of him, Rob, but there we go. You said any signatures. So that's my questions and answers. I think the contest ends this weekend on Monday, April 1st. So if you're having a chance to get an entry in, there's still a chance now. But do check out Rob's channel. Congratulations again, Rob.